So you've done this really cool front flip and you want to do a little effect for TikTok or whatever it is, like this one. Here's how it's done. So as you would have seen in my last video with the super slow-mo, I've already added some speed ramping in this, but to add the clone effect is quite easy. You've simply got to duplicate, so holding Alt and dragging it above, find where you want the freeze frame to be, where you want the clone to be, so say there. You right click, go to change clip speed, freeze frame, and you click change and replace. The footage in front will still be moving, but afterwards it will freeze. So you want to drag this forward all the way to the start of the timeline, and now it's just a frozen clip. You want to highlight both of these clips, right click, go to new Fusion clip, and then head into Fusion. And if you haven't watched my Fusion tutorial to break down this, then link in the description, watch that in the basics, in the DaVinci playlist. Yeah, it's in there. So then you can understand what these nodes mean. So first of all, if we go change this to split screen mode, so we can see which clip is which. So you can see that on the left-hand side, that's the moving clip. So we know that medium 1 is the original, so we can rename that to original, just so we can keep track of things. And then evidently this is going to be the freeze frame, so we can call this freeze. So frame 55 is where they match together. So the first thing that I want to do now is on the freeze frame clip is go over here to select polygon, and it's vanished. But head over here, click invert, and you can see it again. And then you want to do a mask. I'm going to do a rough mask and I'll get back to you. If you're confused with how I'm moving around the screen, it's the middle mouse button. I didn't know that before, but it's the middle mouse button, and it's control and mouse wheel to zoom in and out. So now you've got the mask and it's blacked out. You just select invert again and it will come back to life. So now you want to make sure that you have this little button down here. There's two options. The second one is what's showing on the main screen. So if you have solo screen activated, you want to make sure the second option is selected so that you can see what's happening. So now with both options selected down here, so freeze and original are both on 0 and both points are selected down in the output, we can now see the freeze frame is in the screen, but we don't want it moving across the screen. So what do? What we need to do is select the original clip, shift space, and search for planar tracker. And that will automatically put itself in between the merge and the original clip. So now under planar tracker, we now need to find a point that we can track. I purposefully cut this clip so that I could track the lamppost, because it's in the clip at the start and it's in the clip where I want it to match. So we are going to zoom in and track around the edge here of the lamppost. Change this tracker point to hybrid point / area. If that doesn't work, change it back to point, but it should work. And then you need to set your perspective. It kind of depends on the camera movement. Like if your camera is doing this and zooming in and out, then you're going to want to use all three of these. I'm going to use all three of these, translation, rotation, and scale, just in case, just to make sure it works. So now that you've got your settings all set, you click set to set the reference time, and then hit this button here to track back to the start of the clip. And you can see here up in the top left, you can see those squiggly lines. That's it tracking the clip. And now that is tracked. So now what we need to click is create a planar transform, and then you need to attach the freeze frame to the planar transform, and then the transform to the merge. So now what happens is that the clone is now as a stuck image, but you can see how it's shaking a little bit. Obviously the tracking didn't do the best job, so I'm going to try and redo that, and I'll change the settings to just translation or just translation and rotation or whatever it is to find out what works. So I changed it to just translation, and that seemed to work a lot better. As you can see here, that doesn't move at all. But now the problem is that our guy just front flips straight through and it stays on the screen. So what you need to do is under the polygon option, you see this level option here, you need to set a keyframe, go forward 1 frame and change this to 0. And as you can see, the footage is now complete. You can add more than one clone and do whatever you want with it. But that is how you clone in DaVinci Resolve.